Well, here we are, a few days before Thanksgiving. It's time to start getting ready. It's dressing time today. Dressing, stuffing, where I'm from, South Louisiana, it's all the same thing. We call it dressing. You can stuff it into the bird, call it stuffing, but we call it dressing. Today I'm going to do a basic cornbread dressing, and I'm going to start off in my large cast iron enamel pot. And I'm going to add some olive oil. Now, I'm not going to do it all with perfect proportions because it doesn't have to be. When you cook one of these types of things, you can taste it, work it out the way you need to. I put olive oil in here, EVOO to start off with. Used to use butter, cut back a little bit to make it a little bit more healthy. And I've already chopped up my onions. I did that for you early. Oh, listen to that sizzle. The pot was really nice and hot. So I've got about 1.5 cups of onions. I'm gonna let that sweat a little bit, get it cooked down just a tiny bit. I also have the Holy Trinity. I have celery, I have bell pepper, and I have some garlic, but remember the key about the garlic, you're not gonna do it till a little bit later. So right here, I went out to my garden. This is one of those onions I did in one of my food, oh, hi Mark. This is one of those onions that I did in one of the earlier videos, and I cut off the bottom and I grew it. It is a monster. It's a little bit over 2 feet. We're gonna chop that up and use that also. So we're gonna take our knife and just very coarsely chop it. Remember I told you I liked to have texture in my food. I believe in something that you can bite into. So we're gonna chop this up. I use the green part and the lighter part. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take that bottom of that onion and go plant it again in my garden. So I'll have that in a couple months, a nice big green onion. I have quite a few back there. So all you do is take the bottom of the green onion, recycle. It's really good, helps our environment. So I've got a few other things that I'm gonna put in this. There's my faithful dog who's just walking by. We're going to use cornbread, and I've got that in the oven right now. I use the old handy dandy Jiffy. Jiffy's great. So use the old handy dandy Jiffy. I did 2 of them. And then I've got some stock. I've got some eggs. I also have some breadcrumbs, seasoned breadcrumbs. I'm gonna add thyme, Italian seasoning, ground pepper and salt, and some sage to this. So anyway, we're getting this going. This is smelling real good. I love the smell of onions. We're gonna turn up the heat a little bit. So, as I said, I'm gonna let the onions cook a little bit, and then we're going to add the other vegetables. We do not want to have a mush of vegetables. You wanna have some crunchiness to your vegetables. So what we'll do with this is, after I finish it today, I'm going to place it in a glass dish, cover it up really good, and then I'm going to chill it in the refrigerator and then freeze it for the day of Thanksgiving. So I think we're about ready to go ahead and add the celery. We're gonna add that. It's a little bit over 2.5 cups. And remember I said I like chunks, so this is nice and chunky. And I hear my cornbread. So I'm gonna let you watch this for a second while I check the cornbread. And the cornbread needs about another 2 minutes. So we're gonna set it on 2 minutes and keep that going. So I added the celery. Now I'm gonna add the bell pepper. Bell pepper cooks quickly. Now while we're letting this cook down a little bit, I'm gonna talk about some safety. So we always have a lot of people in the kitchen, and people are having glasses of wine and they're busy, but you need to remember some safety tips. I worked for an emergency room, still do occasionally, but when you're dealing with knives, you need to be safe. When you're cutting, turn your fingers in like this. When you're walking with one of these big knives, you take your fingers like this and walk with your hand by your side. Can you see that? And always, always wear closed-toed shoes. You do not want to go barefoot and lose a toe on Thanksgiving and have to wind up in the emergency room. If you're frying a turkey, we learned this firsthand, make sure your turkey is dry on the outside and there's no water inside. You can inject the turkey, but make sure you don't have any extra water because it'll cause the oil to flare up. Also, don't overfill your pot. If you do, you're going to wind up with the oil spilling, and then that could cause a fire. It could spill into the fire, or it could fall on somebody's foot, like Mark. Mark had his foot burned because of a turkey. If you're smoking, be sure to keep your temperature low and watch that. I'm going to show you in a couple days how I'm going to do a smoker. I'm going to do a turkey in the oven. I'm going to do a tenderloin, a pepper crusted tenderloin, and I'm also going to do 2 turkey breasts, but I'm going to smoke them in a smoker. But it's not a smoker that you buy from the store. It's one that you can work out. When I went to culinary school, they had an easy way to do a smoker, and we're going to do that. Let me check this cornbread again. I'll be right back. And here we go. Cornbread's nice and perfect. Remember, I used 2 Jiffies, okay? So I'm going to let this cool off a little bit so I can handle that. Let me check the vegetables, give it a couple stirs. Beautiful. Already smells like Thanksgiving in this house. I'm excited. I've got some different people coming in this Thanksgiving. And I'm trying to make a few different things. You know, Chelsea is on a gluten-free diet, so I've got to practice on some gluten-free recipes, although there's quite a few that we can try. And if you noticed in the last few videos that I've been doing some different things. So anyway, I've got the fire going, and this smells wonderful right now. We're gonna wait though to put the green onions in because we don't want the green onions to overcook. So I'm going to turn off the video right now, let this cook for a few minutes, and then be right back with you.